John Papa from National Jukebox and Arcade Treasures. We've had a lot of requests from people to see more details of the submarine lung tester we built a few years ago. We built 12 of these and they all sold right away. This is serial number 1 of the 12. And I'm just going to point out a few things and then we'll take a look at the mechanism and how that's made. The cabinet is made out of quarter sawn white oak, and it was select white oak. We bought tons and tons of quarter sawn white oak and hand selected all of the pieces so that we get very elaborate grain in the pieces and in the key areas of the machine. The decorative fish here are cast, and most of the machine is all cast iron. These are cast iron. The little alligator brackets here are cast iron. Coin entry is cast iron. The decorative boats in the background in front of the painting are a composite material that's very similar to paper mache. The divers in the machine we had reproduced from tin, and they came out really well. Let me explain how the machine works from a patron's point of view. Somebody would come up to the machine. Obviously, this is a lung tester from about 1903, 1904. You'd put a penny in here, which would release the mechanism so that it could be used. Now this would be full of water, and the divers would be submerged in the water. And the idea was to blow into this and see how many of the divers you can bring to the top surface of the water. And it's a progressive thing. They don't all come to the surface at once. One comes up, then another one comes up, then another one comes up. And the idea was to see how many could come up. There are no known examples, no known original examples of this machine. And that was one of the great things about making it, was because we knew nobody had one, and there are a lot of collectors who wanted it, who had seen it in the illustrations and in the sales catalogs. What we did was we took whatever known photographs there were from sales literature, and up here you can see the photograph and the description that we followed when we built the machine. And that's about all we had. About halfway through the project, we found a automatic age issue that actually had a photograph of an antique penny arcade from the 30s and a slight description of the machine, and it showed the machine from the side. And that's when we realized the very first one we made didn't have side glass in it. That's when we realized, when we saw that picture, that it's supposed to have a triangular piece of beveled side glass in there. That really helped us complete the machine and do it as accurately as possible. Let me show you the back of the machine. If you can see under here, you'll see a typical Mills coin mechanism here. What happens is the coin comes down, trips this wire, and it releases the mechanism so that it allows people to play the machine. Obviously, if you don't put a penny in and you start blowing in that thing, nothing's going to happen. So it releases the mechanism. And what we designed here was a progressive piston type of affair, where as the air comes in here, it pushes the piston down and it releases the first chamber, which is here, to the first diver. As you blow harder, and you'll notice springs on either side of this, as you blow harder, the piston goes down further and further, and because of the springs, it gets harder and harder to do. But the more it goes down, the more chambers it opens up. And here's the second chamber, here's the third chamber, and if you can really blow hard and get the piston down this far, it'll open the 5th chamber and you'll get all 5 divers up to the surface. This is the cash box. You can see here where the tubes are coming from the progressive chamber, going up into the front of the cabinet where the decorative boats are. So, and what it appears as though these hoses are going up into the boat. In other words, the hoses are coming out of the boat, presumably, and to the divers. And they actually go to the back of the machine and into the mechanism. Anyway, that's the submarine lung tester. There are 12 known examples, and this is serial number 1. If you want more information, go to www.arcadetreasures.com.